Imagine watching the world you know crumble to pieces right before your eyes. Imagine a deadly, invisible enemy sweeping through your city, taking the lives of your neighbors, your friends, and your family. There is no cure. There is no escape. Fear is in the air, and absolute panic is the only thing people have left. Now imagine that on top of this global catastrophe, you are personally facing the darkest tragedies a human being can endure. You are losing your children, one by one, to illness. Your body is failing you, racked with chronic pain. And to make matters worse, the weight of an entire empire rests solely on your shoulders. Millions of terrified people are looking at you, pleading for answers, for hope, for salvation. What would you do? Most people would break. Most people would curse the heavens, fall into a deep depression, or simply give up. But in the 2nd century, one man faced this exact nightmare. His name was Marcus Aurelius. He was the Emperor of Rome, and the world around him was ending. Yet, in the midst of absolute chaos and unimaginable grief, he did not break. He built an inner fortress that no external disaster could touch. Today, we are going to look at the worst period of Marcus Aurelius's life and discover the brutal, beautiful Stoic strategies he used to survive when everything was falling apart. Strategies that you can use today when your own world feels like it is crashing down. To truly understand the power of Stoicism, we have to look at it not in times of peace, but in times of absolute war and disaster. In the year 165 AD, Roman soldiers returning from a campaign in the east brought back something far deadlier than any enemy army. They brought a plague. Today, historians call it the Antonine Plague. Modern scientists believe it was a strain of smallpox or measles, but to the ancient Romans, it was a terrifying apocalypse. The plague swept through the Roman Empire like a wildfire. At its peak, it was killing up to 2,000 people a day in Rome alone. Bodies were piled in the streets. The economy collapsed. The army was decimated. Superstition and mass hysteria took over. People were blaming the gods, turning on each other, and fleeing in terror. And at the center of this storm stood Marcus Aurelius. He was not a tyrant who hid in a safe palace while his people suffered. No, Marcus stayed in Rome. He walked the streets. He organized the burials. He funded the medical care. He faced the horror head-on, every single day. But while he was trying to save an empire, his personal life was a canvas of pure tragedy. We often look at Marcus Aurelius as a powerful, untouchable emperor, but he was a father first. Out of the 13 or 14 children Marcus and his wife Faustina had, only a handful survived to adulthood. One by one, Marcus had to bury his children. Try to put yourself in his sandals for a moment. Imagine standing at the grave of your child, while outside the window, thousands of your citizens are dying of a plague you cannot stop. Imagine the sheer, crushing weight of that grief. How did he keep going? How did he wake up every morning, put on his armor, and lead an empire with calm, rational wisdom? The answer is hidden in the pages of his private journal, which we now know as the Meditations. Marcus wasn't writing a book for us. He was writing letters to himself, reminding his own soul how to survive. In the dark rooms of his palace, by the light of a single candle, Marcus Aurelius practiced a concept that the later Stoics would call Amor, Fati, the love of fate. Marcus believed that nature, or the universe, is a giant, interconnected web. Everything that happens for a reason, and fighting against reality is like a limb fighting against the rest of the body. He wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." Notice that he didn't just say, "Tolerate your fate." He said, "Love it." When the plague struck, and when his children died, Marcus did not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" To a Stoic, that is a useless, toxic question. It implies that the universe is personally targeting you, making you a victim. Instead, Marcus asked, "How can I use this? What does this situation demand of me right now?" He viewed obstacles not as walls that stop us, but as fuel for the fire. He famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Think about a physical fire. If you throw a small cup of water on a small fire, it goes out. But if you have a massive, blazing bonfire and you throw obstacles at it, logs, paper, trash, the fire doesn't go out. It consumes the obstacles and grows even hotter and brighter. Marcus Aurelius wanted his mind to be that bonfire. He wanted to take the grief, the plague, the betrayal, and the stress, and consume them. He used the pain to practice patience. He used the chaos to practice leadership. He used the death around him to practice deep appreciation for the moments he still had. He reminded himself of the dichotomy of control. He could not control the virus. He could not control the death of his loved ones. He could not control the economy. The only thing Marcus could control was his own response, his own character, his own actions in the present moment. And that realization is where true power comes from. When you stop fighting what you cannot change, you free up massive amounts of energy to change what you actually can. Now, let's bring this down from the marble halls of ancient Rome to your life today. You might not be fighting a literal plague or ruling an empire, but you have your own storms. Maybe you are facing a massive financial crisis. Maybe your health is failing, or you are watching a loved one suffer. Maybe your life plans have just been completely shattered by circumstances outside of your control. When that happens, the temptation to panic, to despair, and to play the victim is overwhelming. But remember Marcus Aurelius. Remember the man who lost his children and watched his empire burn, yet still chose to act with virtue and calm. The next time your world feels like it is ending, try to apply his 3 core rules. First, practice radical acceptance. Stop fighting with reality. If a disaster has happened, it has happened. Cursing the universe or wishing it didn't happen only drains your energy. Accept the baseline of your current reality so you can start building from it. Second, remember the bonfire. Ask yourself, how can I use this pain to grow? What virtue does this difficult situation require me to practice right now? Is it resilience? Is it courage? Is it compassion for others who are also suffering? Turn the obstacle into the way. And third, return to your inner citadel. No matter how chaotic the outside world gets, no one can force you to be angry, bitter, or hopeless. Your mind is your ultimate fortress. You can always retreat inward, find your center of calm, and choose to respond with dignity. You are stronger than you think. Marcus Aurelius was just a human being, made of the same flesh and bone as you. If he could find peace in the middle of an apocalypse, you can find peace in the middle of your current storm. Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. Stand firm like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. Be that rock. Stay free. Stay untouchable. If this deep dive into Stoic resilience helped you today, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Share this video with someone who is going through a hard time right now. Until next time, walk the path of the Stoic.